Hi everyone, we are with Matteo De Giorgi, who made top 4 at the last WCQ Regional in Rimini. And what did you play, Matteo?
I played Orcust. I think that Lunalate Time Thief is the best deck right now, since it can beat easily Spiral, which is the second best deck. Control deck are very popular. In fact, I thought that they would have been very popular in this regional, and not too many Spirals and a fair amount of Lunalite. But of course, as always during regionals, there are always a big variety of decks. And Orcust is my favorite deck right now.
Okay.
So I decided to play it also because I didn't have enough money to spend into Magician Souls, or I didn't get the chance to get to the Lunalite cards
In time.
Yes.
Okay, so let's jump into the deck list. Yeah.
Yes. So these are the starters, of course, 3 warriors and 3 scrap recyclers. I also played with the scrap golem and jet synchron, of course, because I think that right now Orcust is in a really bad spot for the meta game. So if you play scrap recycler, if you play Orcust in general, you should also play scrap golem because it higher the chance of you opening a bigger board. So it means that the ceiling of the deck is higher. Which is of course better, and the only way that Orcust can win right now, because if you just put Masquerena with Tingirsa in the graveyard, you can easily get baited, and just entering the battle phase will force Masquerena out.
Okay.
So it means that the deck is not very strong right now.
Okay, I see that.
So you have to play Scrap Golem, and I play Jet Synchron because, of course, if you don't draw an extender that I will show right after this, it's the best way to go into Scrap Wyvern with the Recycler. So these are the starters.
Okay, so 6 starters plus 2 extenders for the starters.
Yes, and of course Scrap Golem as
Yeah.
an engine requirement. These are the extenders. I don't play dangers.
Okay.
I will explain you later why, and I can also show the combo if you want.
It's okay.
So basically, the Reborn is here because if you start with Scrap Recycler and you get entrapped, so it doesn't resolve.
Oh, okay.
I also play Almirage, Salamangreat Almirage.
Okay.
So it goes to the graveyard, and with the Reborn you can bring it back on the field and basically do the full combo, even with Scrap Wyvern. And
Nice.
of course, Foolish Voodoo, because of course if you get entrapped with a normal summon, you always have you can have these to extend and
Yeah,
play.
Foolish Voodoo is always
Otherwise
good
you
in
lose
Orcust
basically.
deck. Yeah.
So there is nothing
4
much to say.
extra, yeah?
Yeah, just these 4.
To avoid
Then
interruptions.
consistency, upstart of course, you have
Okay.
to play less cards as possible, and so I maximized the amount or the number of draw power, so 3 allure and 3 return. There are very few Orcust right now because with Hakoro Band, the chance to open return with an Orcust Nightmare is lower than before, and lower than ever actually. So, but I still play 3 because I play not only 3 Orcust Nightmare, 2 Skeleton and 2 Wand, but I also play 2 World Legacy Ward Armor. Basically, this card has several uses. First of all, it's a new name for return, so you can still resolve return frequently as before with ARP, but ARP is not here anymore, so I used Ward Armor. Also, with the first effect of Ward Wand, when it's sent to the graveyard from everywhere, you get to special summon a World Legacy monster from your hand.
So you
it can special summon itself also. So I played this card, and it's also dark. So it's an allure target. If you summon this card, normal or special, so also by wand, basically you can add a World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. So if you start with a normal summon plus word armor, you get the chance to add succession, which is also another reason why it's here. And the best opening the deck can do is Scrap Recycler plus armor or plus succession, and I will show you the combo later. Because this card itself let you finish the board with Appaloosa, Masquerena, Bubble in the field, and both Dingirso and Galatea, of course, in the graveyard, and Gizmek. So every Orcust is in the graveyard with this card.
Yeah.
Thanks to this card.
Perfect.
I never bricked with this card. I bricked because I didn't draw the starters, but it's normal because now without ARP is pretty common to brick with the deck.
Yeah.
And of course one Gizmek Orochi.
Orochi, okay.
So
best card.
I think it's one of the best cards in the deck, and I only realized this weekend because it kept me in duels that I would have lost otherwise.
Okay.
So I really like this card. And also with Skeleton and 2 Wand, you can also resolve more than one time without fearing
to banish all your Orcs
cards.
monsters, yeah.
Then Entraps.
Okay.
3 Phantasmae. I think best card of the deck.
Yeah.
3 Ash and 3 Crow. So I decided to play Ash and Crow. Ash because it's the best card against control deck, and also those gimmick decks like Goki going second, sometimes it's even good against VA or Dinosaurs. It's really good, this card. And of course in the mirror match, I didn't expect to play a lot of mirror match, or I didn't expect Orcust to be so popular. In fact, it was that way, but still this card is very strong. And also because now one of the most played card is Extravagance.
Yeah.
And this card is basically 1-for-1.
But you stop the best card of the meta at the moment.
Yeah, of course. And then Diddy Crow, because this is the best card against all the combo decks.
Okay.
It basically, by itself, shut down the whole turn against both against Spylar, Orcust, and Lunalite.
Even against Salamangreat, it's pretty good.
Yeah, even against Salamangreat is very good on the effect of Jack Jaguar, because you prevent the summon of Dweller.
Yeah.
So this card is best hand trap. Yeah.
Okay. So 9 hand traps, actually 6 hand traps and Phantasma, okay?
Yeah.
And the last 2 cards?
Last 2 cards.
One Crescendo,
of course,
obviously.
and Bubble.
Yeah.
You have to play these 2 cards. They are very good.
Yeah.
I barely used Crescendo as a banish effect, more like as a bait to get sent from the field to the graveyard, because your opponent is very scared from Crescendo, so he tries to
always a counter
to bait it. Yeah, but instead of activating it, you send it to the graveyard. You let your opponent destroy it, so you can banish it in the same turn and add Skeleton and keep playing the following turn.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, and Bubble. I banished it once by Gizmek against an Artemis player, but
you won anyway?
I kept playing anyway. It was the second game. I lost it because the game was crazy anyway.
It's so hard to play with that bubble.
Yes, but still I managed to do something. But at the end, I lost the second game, but I won the match.
Okay.
And so that's it for the main deck.
Yeah, let's jump into the extra deck.
40 cards, of course.
40 cards, yeah.
39 if you count upstart. Almirage
for the combo. Okay.
Barricade Blocker, Scrap Wyvern. So I will explain Barricade Blocker. I barely use this. I think I summoned it once or twice. I really didn't like it, but I wanted to be sure. I wanted to keep in the extra deck because I wanted to be sure that sometimes it's useful. So just to be sure, but right after the event, I thought that instead of this card, I should have played Gravitar Controller.
Oh, okay.
So the reason why I should have played this card is because it's a dark, so you can summon it after using your effect. But since now, and the deck has very few extenders, in particular my deck, if you just start with a normal summon, so a warrior or scrap recycler, you do Galatea, shuffle 1, set bubble in Girsu, but you don't have the extender to make Masquerena. But in Girsu can become gravity controller because it's not a link monster. So you have this one, this in the extra deck, Babel, and both Galatea and Ingirsu in the graveyard with Orcust Nightmare. So in the standby phase of your opponent, you can send Skeleton with Nightmare and already have a play live. And also this card is really hard to deal with. Basically, it cannot be destroyed by battle with monster in the main monster zone. And if it battles with a monster in the extra monster zone, both this card and that monster are shuffling into the extra deck. So basically, if your opponent wants to deal with this card, wants to out this card, he needs to use effects.
Okay.
So if your opponent uses effects on this card, cannot, for example, destroy Bubble or out monster from the graveyard, for example, Galatea or Dingirsu. So this card it's good because it gives you the chance to put Dingirsu in the graveyard, even if you cannot because you didn't draw an extender.
Okay.
But I didn't play it, unfortunately. Then, of course, free Galatea. Some players play 2. I think 3 is the best choice because now with a lot of control decks, it's very likely to go into the grind game. So you have to play 3. Also because in the mirror match, the third one is the clutch card, basically. I played a mirror match and it became useful. Otherwise, I would have lost. Masquerade, of course. Then Nightmares, Phoenix, and Unicorn.
Must have in the extra deck.
Of course. I don't have anything to say about them. So Longirsu. Longirsu right now is one of the less used cards of Orcust, but still it's very powerful both in the mirror match and with combo decks because it's another form of disruption. And so basically, right now, Orcust cannot use this card unless you use in the main deck Brass Bombard, which is another name that substitutes basically Arporo, because Arporo before was another name to shuffle with Longirsu, but right now you barely have 2 Orcust, 2 machine banished, unless you use, of course, Allure and stuff like that. But other than Allure, I also use Jet Synchron, that when it's summoned back, it banishes itself. So this is always the first card that I shuffle back with Galatea. Okay. So I always have a Wand or Nostris Nightmare banished, ready to bring back with a Wand or to shuffle with Galatea and Longirsu. So this is very powerful. Okay. And so I played Appaloosa. I will show you the combo later. And Bomber Dragon, Boris Sword, of course. And then two Dingirsu. And 2 Dingirsu. So I didn't play Tris Baena because I thought that Tris Baena has a contradiction in itself, basically. If you go against a control deck, which is the only deck that Tris Baena is good against, if you manage to make Tris Baena, you are already in a winning position. If you cannot make Tris Baena, basically your opponent is winning against you. So Tris Baena is useless, basically. Okay. And the excuse that people use to saying the card is good in time, it's not true, because if you can make a link 3, you can always go probably in a link 4. So like in Bomber or Boris Sword, they're both good in time. So Appaloosa will show you the combo and Dingirsu. Okay, Dingirsu. Side deck. Okay, let's. So I played 3 Lancia and 3 Droll for the combo decks. So this is good against all the combo decks, both Lunalight and Spiral, and also in the mirror match. It comes in handy against also Dinosaurs or BA Earth. It's BA Rock or how we want to call it. It's very good. I used it and I shot the turn, but I bricked anyway, so I couldn't have the chance to play. So this is very good. I think it's underrated, this format, but it should be in everybody's side deck, because if you use it, if you use this against Spiral, they only end with Appaloosa.
Okay.
Because they cannot they cannot summon sleeper first of all, and it's very unlikely that they go into Trigate, because the best way to summon Trigate is to put a monster on the field and then reborn double helix with rescue. But rescue needs to be banished in order to reborn double helix, so they cannot summon that name.
They cannot use the rescue in the graveyard effect.
They can still loop quick fix, but it's not a problem because, they keep discarding card and adding some cards because there are not too many spiral gear cards in the deck right now. So it's very hard that it's very unlikely that they still go into Trigate. So they only end up with Appaloosa basically, and Droll of course, best card in the side deck. I think that for regionals it's wrong to main it because there is a wide variety of decks, but you still need to play this. It's wrong not to play this because you shut the turn and you get the chance to play. For the controls, going second, evenly matched, just going second.
That's even good against Spiral.
Yes, this is good against Spiral, but there were only 3 Spirals. One of them was Extravagance, and it was a friend of mine, one of my team, quote unquote. So, I still would have decided that, but I didn't face any Spiral.
Okay.
I faced the Lunalite, but I didn't see this card. I used Lancia and Droll instead, and it was enough.
Okay.
So then I played 2 Hatronade and 1 Red Reboot. So basically the 2 Hatronade should be Lightning Storm, but I didn't get the chance to
Get
to buy
them
them before the regional. And Red Reboot. I side them both going first and second against control deck. Because basically in the main deck you have 3 Crow and 3 Phantasmate that are basically useless. So just siding also this card, it makes sense for me. And also because Hatronade is also it's also good in the grind game, and it lets you it gives you the chance to play or even win. And Red Reboot is good because every deck basically now plays this card inside it. So if you draw this, you
actually win the game.
You negate that. And I think this is better than Judgment, because Judgment negates the card and send it to the graveyard. If they have too heavily, you lose anyway. With this card, you negate the card, you set it, and then your opponent set another card. So it's impossible that they can activate another
Evenly matched, okay.
And then for the control decks, 3 viruses, Eradicator. It's I didn't know what card to side. So I basically put this in. It's very good against control deck because you just end up with Ingirsu, you activate this, you basically win.
You call drops and you win, yeah.
You call drops and...
Both against Guru Counter or Altergeist.
Yes, Guru, Altergeist, it's very good.
Okay.
And also, low-key good against decks like Orcust and Lunalite, if you call the spell, but I never side them going first.
Okay.
Just saying. So I will show you the combo now.
Okay.
Quickly.
Bonus, the combo.
Basically, you should start with World Armor, 1 card to set and destroy by Scrap Wyvern and Scrap Recycler. So
okay, so 1 random set card.
yes, and armor. So you normal cycler and send wand, and wand effect, special summon this from hand, that it gives you succession from the deck. You set the spell card, you do Scrap Wyvern, Reborn, Recycler, and destroy it, then bring from deck
Golem?
Yeah. Should find it here. And then you destroyed your set card.
Okay.
Golem, it reborns Recycler. Recycler effect because it's not once per turn and it triggers also on the special summon. You send Nightmare this time, so you already in the graveyard have Wand and Nightmare, so you already have Orcust combo, but before going into that, you do Appaloosa.
Okay, so you start with Appaloosa.
Yes. With 24...
free negation, so basically.
Free
okay.
negation. Then you activate Succession. You reborn Golem, which is nuts because this is not once per turn, of course.
No.
You reborn Scrap Recycler. You
Recycle.
send
Another one.
Yeah, you send skeleton, then you activate Orcust Nightmare, targeting Appaloosa just to give it another negate, send in Gizmek, so you already have Gizmek in the graveyard as well. You activate Wand, Reborn Nightmare, Galatea. It's basically standard Orcust combo from here.
Yeah, and you can use Gizmek without fearing to banish any of your combo pieces. Because
No, you don't need to, because you already have Masquerena anyway, because Orcust Nightmare is in the graveyard, Skeleton as well. You banish it, Reborn, Galatea, shuffle Wand, activate Bevel, then Dingirsu, Skeleton under it, Masquerena. Masquerena is already live because it has Scrap Golem as material. Also, one thing to note, I always summon Appaloosa on the right side of the X monster turn, because with Masquerena and an Orcust monster, you can go into Longirsu. It points here, so you can send another card, another monster from the extra turn to the graveyard, and it's very hard to deal with this field. Basically, nobody can play through this except like Spiral if he draws Quick Fix Resort class and extender.
Okay.
Other than, of course, the standard cards like Scrap Recycler or Magician Souls. Basically, you need to draw the limited cards. It's very likely.
Okay.
Next turn.
Yeah, you
use Scrap Golem. Already.
You still have Golem alive.
Yeah, you reborn already OTK like this.
Yeah. Okay.
You reborn stuff.
So
I think right now is the best way to play Orcust. I was thinking about playing, of course, Instant Fusion instead of Armor, but if you want to, basically Winda, because you use Instant Fusion to summon Winda into the Mirsu. Winda is, of course, almost GG against almost every deck, but you are playing cards in the extra deck that take spots for other cards that are very useful. Scrap Wyvern, for example, which is mandatory in my opinion. And also you can only go into that play, or the window play, only if you get to use the Orcust. So the difference with this combo is that you go into Appaloosa before using Orcust, the Orcust names, the Orcust monsters effect. So, for example, if they Ash Orcust Nightmare with the Instant Fusion version, you cannot use Instant Fusion to go into Winda.
Okay.
But in this version, the only chance to stop the combo is to Ash Scrap Recycler.
Okay.
But still, I have Almirage, so if I add Drew Succession, which I play in 2 copies, or Monster Reborn, I can still get to do the full combo.
Okay.
Also with, of course, Scrap Wyvern, because Almirage and
you just started
to do the whole combo.
So, thank you, Matteo. Congratulations again for your result. You made top 4.
Yeah.
And so, see you next time.
I hope so.
All the best for your next tournament.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone, from Ace, from Top Table Gaming. Bye.
Bye.